A historic meeting took place on February 28th in the White House in Washington, D.C., and it turned out to be a political equivalent of a bar brawl. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky came to meet Donald Trump to agree on the rare earth deal and to ensure the continuous support of Ukraine. The meeting went sour. The politicians got into a heated debate, and the US president asked Zelensky to leave. In plain language, kicked him out. On the other side of Atlantic, in Moscow, Putin and his gang started celebrating. They have just gained a huge advantage over Ukraine. And this is what I want to tell you about Russian reaction on the results of this White House historic meeting. Well, historic disaster. First, let me briefly tell you what happened in the White House. Vladimir Zelensky flew to Washington to meet with the American president. The fact that they were going to meet was already a big deal. And they met, all right. It started out well. The US president met Zelensky outside. That doesn't happen too often, and that was a good sign. Then they started talking. For some odd reason, J.D. Vance was there. Hard to understand why. Other officials. When the presidents talk, it's just the presidents. And another oddity, there was a room full of reporters. That should have been a closed-door discussion with a joint press conference after. And they fought. There was a heated exchange, accusations, strange body language, and overall hostility in the air. This meeting finished abruptly. Vladimir Zelensky was shown at the door and asked to leave. There hasn't been anything like that on my memory with any president in any country. Basically, Ukraine was shown the door. Very unexpected. There are a few things that I noticed and I want to share with you. Number one, the vice president was present in the meeting, instigating Zelensky, getting him out of balance, and the room full of reporters. It all points into the direction of a setup. I don't know for sure whether Zelensky was set up or it was just an unfortunate natural flow of things, an unfortunate decision to bring lots of people into one room at the discussion of such caliber, but it sure does smell like it was prearranged. Now, Trump can't say to Macron, who asked Trump a day before to meet Zelensky, "You see, I gave him a chance and he blew it." There's something very odd here, don't you find? Number two, Vladimir Zelensky is partially responsible for this disastrous meeting. He chose the wrong strategy and he came unprepared. He came as the leader, fighter, warrior, dressed as warrior, acting as the protector. He didn't do his homework. He needed to come with the image of a businessman, ready to negotiate, to compromise, and to make the best deal for the country. Instead, he started acting as he was doing America a favor, protecting Europe from Russia. And that's exactly what he's doing, by the way. But wrong behavior when meeting Trump. He made a fatal mistake by agreeing of J.D. Vance being a part of this negotiation. The vice president's behavior seemed not constructive but destructive. He did a good job instigating Zelensky.
But if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to...
And also, Zelensky made a mistake speaking English in the meeting. He doesn't possess the command of English good enough for the negotiation of such level. And on top of that, he poorly controlled his reactions, he interrupted Trump, and overall, he was not ready for negotiating with Donald Trump. And Trump, well, he was just being usual Trump. Number three, despite all this, despite Zelensky's mistakes, he was treated unfairly, harshly. He was made to seem as the person not willing to achieve peace, as the warmonger. In reality, he is a hero, the leader of the country tormented by the unjust war, the person who has saved Ukraine by his courage and representing it all over the world. Vladimir Zelensky has my utmost respect. In my opinion, what was done to him in the White House was very unfair. Number 4, there are also a couple more odd things that I noticed on the American side. Both Vance and Trump accused Zelensky of disrespect and ungratefulness. Both things are not true. They couldn't be far from the truth. Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are incredibly grateful for US support and have great respect for America. It is so obvious, I don't even want to talk about it. The USA was helping Ukraine for 3 years. Another thing, Donald Trump mentioned World War III, saying Zelensky was the reason World War III is now getting part of this community. That is absurd. The world is spinning around me. Do not ever forget that Russia attacked Ukraine. It's become real difficult. Russia is the aggressor. And Ukraine has been defending itself. And it has lost 20% of its land. It's been stolen by Russia. We love each other. We have our values. We have more than anything. Ukraine wants to stop this war. This is where we stand. Our values are God, family, and now it's blackmailed into giving its resources in exchange of support to stop the war outside. And the cherry on the top, Ukraine is being accused of being the reason World War III is nearing. It is absurd. I simply don't know what to say. And number 5, there was a reporter of TASS in the White House covering the meeting. TASS is Russia's Russian state-owned largest propaganda news agency. The reporter was removed later, but he was there. The US authorities authorized a Russian propaganda TASS reporter to be in the White House, in the Oval Office. Well, he must have been authorized, otherwise how would he get to the Oval Office, close to the President of the USA and the President of Ukraine? How is that possible? American people, do you even realize what it means? Do you understand the depth of this action? I talk about Russian news being crazy and phantasmagorical, but the real phantasmagory is a TASS reporter authorized to be in the White House and to report from the Oval Office. The actions in America followed instantly after this political scandal, and this is what happened. The US State Department is ending the program to support the restoration of Ukraine's energy infrastructure, according to NBC News. The Trump administration has decided to reduce the presence of the U.S. aid agency in Ukraine from 64 to 8 people, according to NBC News. The Pentagon chief ordered the U.S. Cyber Command to stop all activities against Russia, including offensive cyber operations. This action looks extremely suspicious, but hey, what can I say? The American people have spoken. That's their decision. Now, right now, things are off track big time for Ukraine. The US support is under big question. There's a huge blown crisis for Ukraine, the European Union, and for all American allies in the world. Without America's support, Ukraine is in big trouble. It has received US military aid. The key here is what they receive is very technological weapon systems, highly advanced ones. They outperform Russian systems by far, and especially now when Russian troops are using donkeys and horses for transportation. The crucial part of the military supplies is the air defense systems, particularly the Patriot systems. Without them, Ukraine isn't going to do well on the battlefield. Without American support, Putin will overtake Ukraine over time and will have complete control over it. What I've just said, you can probably find in the Western media if you dig hard enough. Now, let me tell you a few things that you will not find anywhere. The Russian side of the story. Because, of course, it has the Russian side. But before I jump there, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. So, thank you so very much for your support. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sending me love in your messages, praying with me and along for me. Thank you. Thank you for coffees that buy at buymeacoffee.com. Thank you for Patreon and PayPal. Much appreciated. Monetized or demonetized, and I'm still demonetized by Google. You have my word. I will be here every day telling you the truth about what's happening in Russia. Thank you. Today, Donald Trump, for the first time, said something that Vladimir Putin has been waiting for 2.5 years. When Zelensky said that he brought Trump an advantage, Trump replied, "I don't want advantage, I want peace." To me, this sounds insane. It reads, "I don't need any advantageous position. I just want peace at any price. Any peace." Zelensky tried to remind that Putin signed agreements before, and, they're not worth much. And it bothered Trump. Trump somehow believes that Putin will be honest with him. Trump just gave Putin an advantage in further negotiations. And that is being celebrated in Moscow. This is the moment Putin has been waiting for. This is the victory. No American support. Russia will double down its efforts to overtake Ukraine, and it has good chances now, much better chances than before. It's becoming pretty darn crazy. Keeping up with all important news is not easy these days. That's why I invented Formula 54, my way of keeping everyone informed of news of Russia that are important. I simply identify and select 9 news that I find important and make them available to Patreons of Inside Russia, along with my analysis and comments. So if you want to stay on top of things Russia, didn't know where to look no further, sign up to become Patreon. I'm going to post a link down below in the description to the video and in the pinned comment. So get informed. The most important thing didn't happen in Washington yesterday. It happened in the Kremlin, in Russia, in my opinion. Vladimir Putin finally received what he was looking for. The reason for invading Ukraine. He received the prize. Now, according to Putin, all that's been done, destroyed Ukraine, hundreds of thousands killed and maimed, the economy destroyed, all has reason. That is Zelensky being kicked out of the White House, the symbolic move of the American president and his administration turning away from Ukraine. Ukraine, once the vassal of America, the puppet state, is now finally free from America's influence. Zelensky has been insulted and thrown out from the USA in front of everyone. It is a symbol. The war has been worth fighting for now. The special military operation is over. In principle, he can stop it now, and he will in the upcoming month, one way or another. But it's over already. Now he can do that. Before he couldn't. He was in the position of Zugzwang. He could not explain anyone why Russia was fighting for. Now he can. For 3 years, Putin was between the rock and a hard place, and now Donald Trump has put soft carpet to under him by kicking Zelensky from the White House. Putin has proved Russians and the whole world that he is right. He was right all along. No matter what happens before, it's been done. The victory has been achieved. Putin is the savior of Russia. Collective West is no more. The hegemon has been defeated. Russia has destroyed the single polar world. Russian world has survived and spreading along with Russian values. That is what Putin will be selling to Russians and the world. And the Russians will buy it. They always buy everything that Putin says. And some in the world will buy it also. And of course, it's not true. But this is something tangible in Putin's hand. This is something he will be emphasizing. This is something he can show the world. Look, this is my victory. This picture right here. At this point, things aren't looking good, but of course, everything can change lightning fast. So let's stay informed and let's hope for the best.